entire team here with us. So good morning.
Morning.
Good
Welcome,
morning.
welcome to your self-realization.
Did you get the job done, Joyce?
That
I asked if she got the job done.
are you talking about Jackie? Were you talking to Jackie?
Jackie, excuse me, I called her Joyce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the telephone number doesn't give me a name, so I apologize.
Yeah, I used to put
Oh,
my
it
name.
says choice.
I just typed it in on accident. I meant Jackie. Because you said Joyce out loud. I typed Joyce.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my God.
Oh.
At any rate, what a fun life. So welcome. Okay, so go ahead, Jackie, in responding.
I don't know what you mean by did I get the job done?
Oh, I wasn't sure what your project was, but I thought it was naturalization or something like that.
Yeah, I got my naturalization certificate and now did the ceremony. Thank you. And now I'm, had to go to the Social Security office, go to the passport office, lots of little bits and pieces with lots of pieces of paper, but it's worth it. So yes, I did. Thank you.
But I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get right to it. Today we're gonna complete out our prosperity section, and we talked of in different parts of talking about all our laws, our increased laws, vacuum laws, creative, command, and increase. And now we're going towards attitude towards money. This is the fun part. Everyone in the world has a different vision of what we see money being. First of all, I'm going to stop right there and start with our protection prayer. I just get right to it, don't I? Mother, Father God, we give gratitude and thank yous for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and through us wherever we are, so that only the highest and best will occur through our thoughts, words, and actions. And through those thoughts, words, and actions will lead us to a better understanding of our own self. So when we meet those on our path, we have a better understanding of them. We give thanks for this day. Amen. All right, here we go. Going right into it. We're going down the river. Attitudes towards money. Anyone, we even use the word attitude towards money, and we think of all these strange concepts that many people have had. Either we've been with someone who has a strange attitude towards money, or even ourselves has something that we want to work with and heal that up. Usually these are things that are taught to us. Money is divine, and we are divine beings. And so when you think of the expression of money or anything towards it, it's our heritage, our birthright to embrace this, and that we are worthy of all of it in front of us. And so anything that has been, taught to us, or us, hearing the goats teaching the goats, across the line somewhere, we've learned some strange thing about money. Let's give an example of when we go to lunch with another person and one person says, or dinner, no, let me get that. No, don't touch that. And then you start this argument over paying the bill. It's just not a smooth concept. These things are, really important. Also, when it comes to, say, a gift, this is the same sort of concept of, because we feel like it's the energy of what we're feeling at the moment when we do something is the important part to embrace. The understanding of what were we feeling when we thought that we needed to do it? Was it because we had to? Was it because, I need to feel like I'm in command and I have money because I'm going to pay for it? There's all these energies that are around attitudes toward it, where if it was like, the compassionate side of us. If somebody else wants to pay for you, acceptance, be like, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's really nice of you. I'll get you next time. These type of deals where it's, the upfront, like, the feeling is like energetically, the feeling is you're up against a rock and you want to change it. That energetic feeling is not a natural flow with money and acceptance and giving and receiving. And even if the person did it twice, you're getting in the habit of paying me, for me a couple of times, but I'm gonna, next time I'll be paying for this, just, it's interesting how we feel that we need to pay it forward more than we receive it too. There's just many different versions of this, but to know, as I said, we are divine, and it is our divine birthright to have that. Give me 1 second. I think someone else is coming in here. Let's see what we have here. Right, it's not working. All right. Okay, so it's important to remember to accept money or payment when providing a service for others. If payment is refused, it puts others in debt to you. Okay, so same kind of thing as a gift. So just think about that. Do not think or say anything concerning another's financial affairs or anything that you would not want to experience in your own affairs. Do not think of others' financial lack because it will cause a lack in our own finances. Why? Because we're energetically bringing that forward, right? We're energetically in that. So it's important. I've never been poor, only broke means that being poor is a frame of mind and being broke is just a temporary situation. Timothy 6:17-19. If anybody looks at this kind of thing in the Bible, I use the positive power of God's rich substance in wisdom, love, and good judgment in all my financial affairs, and I am prospered in all ways. God's riches are powerful and good and are to be used with wisdom. Not complaining about financial problems, but know that I have faith that this too shall pass. Again, this isn't a forever deal. Whatever's going on is not forever. And we know this because everything we experience, like say, for instance, the eye, having the surgery, this too shall pass. It's like very temporarily, anything that shows up in our way goes very quickly. The repair of my tooth, just an example. Surgery, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be a little while. It was only about a week, and it's all, good. So very interesting. Not to give thought to needs and obligation, because this brings more needs and more obligation to us. Know that all the needs and obligations are being sustained. To add prosperity is in life, think all financial doors are open, all financial channels are free, and such amount, whatever that means to you, now comes to me. I'll repeat that. All financial channels are free, and whatever amount now comes to me. Not to be afraid to pray about money, for money is the divine birthright. Now, when we go into, we're moving right into work. It's the same type of thing. Anything we think of, we are, right? So work is a mighty channel of prosperity, and failure talk associates you with failure-minded people. How many times have we been in a job, per se, and all the things were not going right, and all the things we said were not right? I hate it. and then it just stayed that way, right? Wonder what, or we kept getting the same kind of jobs, same kind of people. So attitude is paramount in the success or failure of prosperity. So not condemning those who are moving up the ladder of success. Why? Because that's us. We're seeing it now. It showed up in our space to see someone evolving. And what is that telling us universally? God, universe is telling us that's you coming up. So being like, wow, that's so wonderful. Whatever it is that the other person is achieving in their life, you can honestly know that that's coming too. Because it's in front of you. You're able to bring that into your energy. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? So letting circumstances be a training period and not complaining about these circumstances. There are many actions one can do about any work condition. And if you guys are not in work anymore, there are many different things that we can call work, right? There's many different things in life that we call our work, whether it's going to a particular job, reading books, taking night or full-time courses, attending special lectures, seminars, to gain new information about job skills necessary for whatever this thing is that we're learning and being in at this time, or creating new skills for different careers or things that we love. I now let go of worn out work conditions. Divine order is now established and maintained in me and my job now, or you could replace job. The divine law of justice and freedom is at work for all, in all, and through all. All people and all circumstances draw to me my God-given good, and I rejoice in this knowledge. Direct energy toward a goal concerning work, and remember that the inner becomes the outer. Everything that we see, everything that is a part of us, is our internal self. What's going on there? Are we needing to cleanse it? Are we needing to accept ourselves as we are? Are we forgiving our past lives? We have some people that are really triggering that show up in our life, and we think, why? Because that was us. Like, let's just be thankful that it's showing up to say, okay, I think I got that, I think I got that, and I don't need to be that anymore. Or, I love you for what that represents, and thank you for that lesson. It's very interesting. Being discouraged is okay if you're in control, and when discouragement controls one's mind, it's robbing us of our success. Sometimes it's the darkest before the dawn. How it gets really down and dirty and down to the point, and everybody's like, I can't take it anymore. And then all of a sudden the door opens and you're like, oh, it's all done. Okay, moving on. And then just pause for a second and go, did you just see what you just went through? Those are great moments. Those are great accomplishments of success when it was the hardest part. But we never really want to look back and go, oh, that was pretty amazing stuff. I really did achieve a lot through that darkness, or through the trenches, or the hard times, the struggles, whatever it was. It's really good to look at it and say how much we've achieved something. And that baby right there, thank you, good job. So no work or job is so high or so low as long as it's essential in the welfare of someone. So no job, looking at it like everyone has a value and a meaning for whatever it is that they do. there's a purpose to whatever lesson someone chooses. And being, good with seeing it and knowing the world flourishes with that.
Hey, Angie, can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Um, Now back in the late 80s, there was a bunch of changes going on in the banking industry, and I was working as an operations manager for a major bank. And one day, the people with the manila folders came in and started laying everybody off. And everybody kept saying to me, "Oh, well, they can't do without you. They can't do without you. You'll never get laid off." And boy, oh boy, my name was in there with all those other manila folders. And um, and it was so devastating to me at the time. Um, and then I took a minimum wage job with a temp agency. I ended up meeting the most amazing people at the different jobs I went to through that temp agency. And there was just so much growth that I did that I never would have done had I stayed in that position. And um, if I had it to do all over again, when those people with the manila folders, called my name, I would have gone into that office and said, "I want to really thank you for this great opportunity." Even though that's not the way I saw it at the time, that's the way I know it. I know it now, is that it was the best thing that ever could have happened to me. And so, when we talk about these things, it really hits home for me that there's so much more than what we maybe realize in that moment, that other things are underlying and behind all of what's going on. And it was amazing. I ended up with a college degree and all kinds of different opportunities because of what happened that day. So and one other thing, my father-in-law, bless his heart, he used to try to punish with money. And he I remember one day he walked into our home and he looked around and he said, "Oh, looks like you're okay. You're doing okay. I think I'll go change my will." Yeah. And which was just, it was such a hurtful thing to do. Instead of saying, "I'm so proud of you for the hard work that you've done, and I'm so proud that you're, my son, you are taking care of your family, and you're a good man, and you're a good, a good person." Instead of saying any of those positive things, it was like, "Oh, look at what you have. I'll slap you in the face right now." And that's what, those kind of things happen. And then it's the way that we react to it that makes the difference. So, there's just so many different ways that people can act and react around money situations.
Like the goats teaching the goats, right? The goats saying whatever. It's like, what is going on?
Martha, sorry, Jackie.
No, you go ahead.
But it's interesting that you were saying that, because my father, he's a simple man. He doesn't overthink things, and he's not a malicious person at heart. My two younger brothers struggle. They've always been blue collar, trying to make money. And I don't know, my dad said I had the Midas touch. I was the firstborn, and everything I touch turns to gold. And he's not lying. I've been very blessed so many times. And he did say to me, he's like, "Casey, you're doing so fantastic that I think I'm going to train to trust to help your two brothers." And there was a part of me in the beginning that thought, "But I've earned all this. But then I had to step back from my ego and go, I see my dad's purpose. He sees me as set up and comfortable, and it's not because he doesn't feel like he equally loves us. Money doesn't equate love. What he's seeing is, I see you are okay, and I wish the same for your brothers. So if I can allocate my funds to help them, and then when I learned that and I absorbed it and I felt it and I knew it as truth, it released it.
I think the whole thing of money can get very complicated in many different ways. My husband was, shall we say, a late starter when it came to earning money. And his father, I think, was very disappointed. And, he sort of let conversations be overheard about the black sheep of the family and all that kind of. And, in the end, my husband more than caught up. He did very well, very successfully, worked extremely hard. And on his deathbed, his father said, "You did okay." It took to the deathbed. He was 97. But in many ways, I think his disapproval spurred my husband on to actually prove that he could do it. And maybe he wouldn't have achieved as much as he had achieved. Maybe, who knows? But it's hard to live with that disapproval all your life. And another example here, different, but just about attitudes towards money. My brother, about 20 years ago, won the lottery. Not the big one, but enough to make him very comfortable. And he lived in a village, and he was very generous. He donated to the community hall, and he donated to the school, and but it just changed the dynamics. There were so many people in that village who just actively hated them. They just, because they had something that the others did not have. And it was, their life became very, very difficult because of their win. Instead of people saying, I'm delighted for you and thank you for your generous donations to our community, they just hated them. And I just felt that was really sad. And I said to them, I'm really happy for you. Go for it. Wonderful, fantastic. That's great. Why don't you? I wish everybody could get a nice lump sum. But anyway, I've just found over the years with various things that money can be a very complicated subject, which brings out a lot of often not very nice reactions in other people.
Mhm.
That's my bit.
Well,
If you think about how we're creating the story in our mind around what we're seeing outwardly, it's just our stories. It's just our thought, like you're saying about the people, how they thought about the person that had more money, it's our stories that we create these little things in our mind and we project them outwardly to these people. And quite frankly, it goes even deeper to the point of, okay, so there's some sort of experience thing going on here of the past. And forgiving it too. If you think of the metaphysical side of what are we seeing on the outside here, this is a mess. What is that? And you could, dig deeper too. Forgiveness of self or forgiveness of others, or and accepting yourself as you are. Be strong. We we know what we're worthy of. We know we're darn well worthy of that, and being good with that.
when Marsha was expressing what she went through, Marsha was a influence in my life too, because in 2008, she was on the board of the United Fellowship Chapel, and we were really going through one of these periods of time. The donations were not coming in and everything like this. And she said, well, the only thing we can do right now is to cut my salary. And I said, well, I'm a step ahead of you. I've already done that. And I made some adjustments where I can make my life worthwhile doing with half of what I was given as a salary. And what I found out that I had more money left over after the end of the month than I had before. And everything. So, and that's, I attribute to the attitude I had toward money and everything. And when Marcia brought that up, I said, I'm way ahead of you. I made arrangements where I can live half of the salary that I'm getting. Thank you, Marcia.
And Angie, maybe we'll touch on this, but I notice that when I am around other people who are affluent and not pompously affluent, but just comfortably in their space, and they resonate affluency, abundancy, all that, I feel like just being around those people, or even being like a Newport Beach where I'm around a lot of wealth, that's just money everywhere, that it almost like it absorbs into my psyche, and then wealth just comes to me. And it's a law of attraction, of course, right? Again, at play. But just being around people with wealth, it just triggers something inside of me, and it resonates, and then this stuff comes to me. It's pretty crazy.
Very true, very, very true.
Mhm.
It's talking about daring to be different. Stop caring about what other people think. Think big and keep it to yourself. God is your partner, or universe, whatever word, right? Disciplining ourselves from rejecting all that distracts us from our goals, becoming one-pointed or one-track mind, associate with prosperous minded people compatible with you, just like you were talking about, and staying away from unproductive people per se, because you do not have to please unproductive people. That means your family. Just kidding. Most people go, but I think I have to. I'm only bringing family up because they're our biggest lesson. But it appears that the world thinks that we do, because of course we love our family. We want all of what we want. Maybe they chose to be in that role because you wanted to be in that lesson. Just, yeah, being good with it, because sometimes we can look at it as like a horrible, why would I ever choose this? Because it's your highest lesson, obviously. It's like, of course I would. I wanted to develop faster, whatever that is, And that's with anybody around us. But weed out failure-minded people and be very selective about who you associate with, if that's your goal. As one focuses on prosperity each day, the processes become easier and easier, and getting rid of negative attitudes concerning prosperity helps one overcome the serious obstacles that lack thinking creates. So 10 is the magic number. So vision of financial independence. Everything you see, multiply it by 10. Thinking in tens does away with lack. Bills, investments, or just symbols. Create a picture of how you would like your life to be and magnify it by 10. So here's the 10 success steps. I'm going to say them pretty quickly because we'll do our meditation on this. Get in a quiet meditative state and ask universe, God, whatever way you say this, or loving Father, for any reason, not to be completely financially independent. Begin thinking what you want to be. Ask divine intelligence to show you that next step, what that is. Desire to become successful. Desire is a worthy, strong intention or impulse to make known from within. It is an onward, ever evolving creative image of God. Desire to be the highest and best. Build mental pictures. Picture what is desired. That's your imagery. That becomes like magic. What is really wanted and not what someone else wants. And that's like really deep, because most of the time we're doing things of what mom taught us, dad taught us, or what your relationship partner wants. You think that's what you want, but maybe that's not the case. Say little to anyone. Keep plans to yourself. Take a step forward, take a step toward your mental picture or financial independence by having some big goals with little goals within. Setting goals that are daily, weekly, monthly. I know we've all heard this before. Yearly, and really sticking to that. Go back and look. Do not become anxious, excited, and emotionally upset if goals do not immediately begin to happen. Do not hurry or force your goals, for this leads to discouraging destruction. Persist and persevere. That is. Also, the list, make it small. You don't need like 15 things to be looking at. How you're going to get distracted, right? Baby steps. Stop caring what people say or think about prosperity, but continue to think prosperous thoughts. Give your best in the present situation by keeping your spirits high. What makes your spirits high? Laughter. Are you out going and seeing something that makes laughter? Nature. Are you going out to the mountains? You're going to Mount Lemmon or wherever you go. I'm talking about Arizona right now, but the beach, wherever you go. Realize that your dreams of financial independence have already become true on a mental plane, and divine substance gives me this now in thine own perfect way. It is mine now and quickly manifests in satisfying ways. Whatever you do, don't say this. It can never happen. Instead, say, this or something better now manifests. Remind yourself often that what others have attained, I can too. Because I'm seeing it, it's there, right? You're in the flow of the water. You just saw it, so you're going that way. You're speeding up. You're going down the river. Pay attention to that. Remind yourself often that what others have attained, you can too. Remind yourself often that every good thing already exists in your world. Stick to it. It can happen overnight, and declare often, every day in every way, I am becoming financially independent with universe's help, God's help.
Every time I hear this story, it reminds me of a person who came to me and she wanted to know why things weren't happening for her, but she's been doing all these affirmations, and I says, well, bring your affirmations in tomorrow, we'll take a look at them. And she brought them in there, she had 10 pages of affirmations. I took them and put them in front of her and ripped every one of them up. And they said, we're going to work on 3 affirmations. So after the session, we worked with 3 affirmations, and 6 months later, she came back and says, when I started doing those affirmations, things started to change, and I got a position now that I made $10,000 in the last 6 months, and I'm getting better at my job, and people are looking at me much more better, and I'm looking at them much more better. So that goes along with the attitude that we have and everything, and things happen like this, and at first this woman was devastated because I was ripping up all of her affirmations. But she had enough courage to try and do it, and she kept at it, and it improved her life.
Yeah. So here's one more thing about prosperity. Love and goodwill. I'm just going to say this really quickly and we'll get into our meditation. Deliberately think loving thoughts of goodwill towards people who are hard to get along with. Visualize love, a sense of security, calmness, and good humor. Begin each day mentally going over the planned events of the day and visualize pleasant, harmonious, and successful thoughts. 2/3 of the people lose their job or jobs because they cannot get along with others. And the power of love allows one to get along with others because love never fails. Love is personal and impersonal. Personal love is the expression of devotion, tenderness, kindness, approval, and appreciation of family. Impersonal love is the ability to get along with others without personal attachment. I love all people, and all people love me without attachment. I let divine love now be made alive in me. Say I love you to yourself. And we often go to the mirror and do that. And that one's a, whoo, boy, baby. That one's like, you start off just looking at yourself. There's stages of this, but once you can just go right in and go, I love you, and you mean it, it changes everything. It changes everything that's around us. All right. And with that, let's go into our meditation. So get nice and comfortable in your chairs. Let us concentrate on our breath. As this breath moves through the nostrils, it relaxes each muscle, nerve, and vessel in our being. This breath is what sustains you. It is the breath of life. Feel the relaxation that this breath brings to your being. As this relaxation moves gently in and around each part of your being, it turns into something very beautiful called love. You recognize this love as being alive and active with each breath. Just relax and recognize. As you exhale, you release physical toxins and negative attitudes you have towards yourself and all people concerned. Relax, recognize, and release. As you are releasing the toxins and attitudes, they are being dispersed into the I am. Gently allow this breath to settle in the feet area. The feet is the understanding part of our being, and as you understand yourself clearly, then you understand the world that you move in. Just relax, recognize, and release. Feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leave as this breath moves to the ankles and up the legs. Feeling all agitations and irritations being dissolved. Relax, recognize, and release. As this breath moves to the hip area, relax and release that which does not belong to you. The hip represents independent movement, and you are now free to move in life and free to be you. Very gently, allow this breath to move to the base of the spine and the small of the back. Allow the breath to stay here for a few moments. This breath becomes stronger and stronger, for this is the strength area. Strength is confidence, security, and firmness. Now allow the breath to move up the spine. As this breath touches all vertebrae, muscles, and nerves, you feel enlightened, giving up the burdens that do not belong to you and taking care of what does belong to you. As this breath moves up the spine, you feel confident, secure, and firm. Relax, recognize, and release that which does not belong to you. As this breath touches the shoulders, feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leaving. The shoulders represent responsibility in life, and know with each breath that you are doing your responsibility in life with freedom and ease. You also allow all other people to do their responsibilities with the same freedom and ease. Allowing this breath now to move down the arms, relaxing, recognizing, and releasing, reaching the hands. The hands are the giving and receiving part of our being. We give to receive and receive to give. As this breath is in the hands area, feel the breath that is between your hands and how good this breath feels. This goodness is you. You are extremely good. Take this goodness that is you and place it in the lower abdomen area. The greatest gift of all lies here, life. You are full of life, and life is full of you. Life is happiness, health, and wealth. You eliminate all that hinders you from life, and you put order into your life. Order is the adjusting of all mind powers moving in harmonious manner for life. Very gently now, allowing this breath to move to the stomach area. The stomach is the judgment area, and let us fully and freely release all mistakes and judgments that we have made that have led to mistaken action. Replace with the correct judgments that lead to correct action. Relax, recognize, and release. Feel all tension, nervousness, and frustration leaving. Allowing this breath to move to the heart area. The heart is the love area of our being, and with each beat of the heart, love moves to each part of our body. We radiate this love, and wherever we go, this radiance is felt. And the universe gives back to you that radiance. Relaxing, recognizing, and releasing that which does not belong to you. Very gently allowing this breath to move to the throat area. The throat is the power area of our life, and you are in command of your life, and you are at ease with that command. Relax, recognize, and release that which does not belong to you. Very gently allowing the breath to move to the back of the head, to the very crown of your head, and from the tips of your toes to the crown of your head, you are relaxing, recognizing, and releasing. As you're in this relaxed state, think, feel, or see yourself walking down a path. You feel the path beneath your feet. You notice the grass that lines this path. You notice the sun twinkling through the trees that also line this path. As you walk down the path, there's a gentle breeze that touches your body. This is the breath of life. It allows you to take the next step in knowing yourself. As you walk down the path, there's a clearing in front of you. And as you walk into the clearing, the softness of the grass touches your feet. Knowing that you are very protected, you walk into the clearing. There is a body of water that is crystal clear and warm to your touch. There are paths that lead away from the clearing. As you walk to the body of water, if you choose to go into the water, submerging completely in the water, breathing freely and all organs functioning properly, know that you are very protected. If you choose to lay beside the water, absorbing the four elements, the sun, water, air, and earth, or you may choose to explore the past, feel free to do so and enjoy. remembering all that you have seen, sensed, felt, or heard, and feeling very refreshed and keen. You notice your healing clarity from your healing circle. You notice that every one of us surround that healing circle. And you notice that your healing breath starts to expand to touch each and every one. We become one healing breath. One healing breath. We direct this healing breath to the healing box. And for all souls making and have made transition, all the institutes of health that state that peace is a journey and destination, all those affected by the winds, the rains, the snows, and the movement of the earth, the fires, that they are all protected and healed. As you're aware of your healing presence, and as you move towards your path, you notice anything changed, moved, or taken away. And when you're on your path, your mental and physical consciousness becomes aware, remembering all that you've seen, felt, and heard, and feeling very refreshed, alert, and keen. And when your mental and physical consciousness is fully aware, open your eyes. All right. Okay. Casey, tell me how your meditation went on.
Yeah, I sat by the water, but I cross-legged and let the sun just hit me, and then immediately I was taken to a scene where Jesus broke the bread, and the message was super clear that the abundancy of the bread and how he was able to make one loaf to feed so many, how when we utilize wealth, and wealth could be bread, it could be symbolic of time, it could be symbolic of so many things, riches and wealth and financial. But when we do things with unconditional love, without any strings attached, and without feeling pity or sorry for those who maybe are in a different lower vibration, but just giving and breaking that bread fulfills so much that our riches are actually internal riches, and they manifest within physical riches as well. And it was very beautiful.
Yes, you are. Thank you. Jackie, how did you do?
It was very nice. I actually sat on a bench in my yard that I've worked so hard with and learning all new things here in Tucson, and just looked at all the plants, and I just got the message, because all I do is work. It seems all I've done is work since we got the house and done all the stuff. They said, just sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor and appreciate Mother Nature, and do what you want to do. I mean, nice things, not nasty things. Just do what you want to do, relax and enjoy and appreciate, rather than just work. It was very nice. It was just very calming.
Very good. Lady J, how did you do?
Well, I kind of went down memory's lane, because I have a different story with money than most people. In our household, growing up, I never heard money mentioned, and there wasn't any sense of lack, although there was lack. We were farmers, so we always had all the food we wanted. But I remembered an incident where my mother sent me to the store with $5 and told me to buy a quarter of a pound of butter, and I came back with a pound of butter because the girl at the store said, well, you have enough money to buy a pound. And my mother said, no, she had other places for that money, and I was to take 3/4 of the pound back and get more. And then I went to, after I got done with nursing school, the first job that I had, I was living with my parents. I had moved back home with my parents. And the first paycheck I got home from work, and the insurance man was sitting in the driveway and he came every month and collected, I think it was like $11.18 or some such thing from my parents for their life insurance. And I said, well, why didn't you go on in? I know Dad will be home pretty soon. He said, no, I came to talk to you. And my dad had asked him to talk to me about paying myself first. And I had been told I was going to earn I had not opened the paycheck stub. I was told I was going to earn $350 a month. So I signed up for $33.50 a month to come out automatically. Well, what I didn't understand was you don't get $350 a month. So the theory is you pay yourself first, then you pay God first. That's 20%, and then you live on the 80%, right? Well, you don't get $350. They take out the taxes, and then they take out the Social Security, and then I don't know what else they take out. But when I got all done, I didn't have 80% to live on. Forget paying God, I had $25 left after paying. And it was in those days when you had to have a telephone, and I had a car and I had car insurance, and but I had $25 to live on. That included for food and any entertainment. So eventually I got a roommate. I moved out of my parents' home and got a place where I worked, and I had a roommate, and she was equally as strapped. She was a teacher. And she tended to all the money about buying the food. And when we got down to where we only had $1 left in the kitty, she would say, well, do you want to use the $1 for gas to go home? Or shall I use the $1 for gas to go home? We're both farmers' daughters. And going home meant you could get all the meat you wanted for the month. So, and I did that, paying myself first all my life. So it has made my retirement really nice. And for that, I'm grateful, because we were careful with our money, but I never had a sense of lack. I never got that money was evil. All the stuff that people talk about, I just don't have in my consciousness. So I was taught that there's a lot of ways to help people besides money. Yep. And it's just, I have a good attitude about it, and I'm real grateful to my family for it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Lady J. Reverend Marcia, how did you do?
Oh, yeah, I did great. It was kind of interesting during the meditation. The air conditioning in the house kicked on, and my door in here was closed, and it created like a vacuum, and I was hearing all these weird noises and stuff. So I had to I came out of it a little bit early. But what was interesting was that when I came out of it early, I saw everybody. And I saw everybody in this meditative state, and I was just fascinated by all of you and all of your, it's just, I don't know, it was a really interesting experience. But I was also thinking about, that all my life I kind of got mixed messages about money, because my mother worked really hard and saved and paid the bills, and my dad was like frivolous and threw money away and made not so wise decisions, and taught me that credit cards were the way to do it, and all of that kind of stuff. So I got very, very mixed messages, and I ended up having to kind of teach myself and learn from other wise people, and I don't know, going through learning the metaphysical principles, and happiness, health, and wealth equals prosperity. Is if there's any piece missing, then you're not prosperous. you know, it's very interesting because I've had family members that ended up extremely wealthy and lost everything, or I had family members who had nothing and were fine and happy. And it's just kind of interesting how the money part of it is just one piece, and it really depends on how your attitude is toward that piece and how you feel inside toward that piece. So it's just a really good reminder. I do remember that time way back when the chapel was having a real difficult time, and we were looking at the budget, and it was like, you know, well, you can't cut back on electricity because, you know, there were only a couple of places to cut back, to, you know, to make sure that there would still be money there, and it all worked. Everything worked beautifully, and I was always really kind of protective of the chapel and what the chapel offered to me and to so many others. So yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Marcia. Reverend David, how did you do?
I did okay. I actually saw three ghosts, and I know exactly what they were. And thank you.
Yeah. And you said ghost, yeah?
Yes.
I love it. Only we can talk about these things, right?
Right.
It's like, someone, oh, I just saw 3 ghosts, you know, and I know what that means. Like, okay, let's move on. All right. I love this.
I have to say, I am curious about what it meant, and I wondered if there's a message there.
You'll find out what that is.
Well, right.
Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future.
You all got your own message.
Yeah.
That's why I love, you'll figure out what that is, you know. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, next week, I really appreciate all your thoughts in this. It's all wonderful to me. I soak it in, and I love to be around this environment to, you know, talk about it. It's good, really yummy. Next week, we're going to go now to the other parts of our 12 powers. So we did back earlier within the months, we did the first part up at the top portion, and now we're going into wisdom. So that way it stays nice and balanced. That's Reverend David specifically did it for that purpose of not doing it all in one where we just, it's just too much. So now we're going to go back in and complete those. So next week we'll be doing wisdom. So basically you're in wisdom now. There you go. All right, we'll do our gratitude, and thank you so much for today. Mother, Father God, we give gratitude and thank yous for this day. We ask for your infinite light of protection to be with us and through us as we go on our path. So when we meet those on our passage, we share the love that is so abundant. We give thanks for this day. Amen.
Amen.
And thank you for today.
Have a good week, everyone.